Hello, dear students. So now today we would move ahead in this fourth chapter of class 8th science, that is materials, metals, and non-metals. So there we are discussing the physical properties of the metals. So in that one series, today we have the next physical property of the metals, and that is metals are good conductor of electricity. So in the previous one we have read metals are good conductor of heat. So here metals are good conductor of electricity. Electricity, what does this mean? It implies the metals allow the electricity to pass through them. Okay, it means what? It means metals allow electricity to pass through them. Let's say you have a metal wire here. Let's say this is the metal wire. So this metal wire would allow the electricity to pass through it. Okay, suppose let's say you plug in this metal wire somewhere and you touch it from here, you would get electric shock. Are you getting it on? If you just plug in this wire here, okay, here suppose you have some electrical outlet, okay, and if you just plug in this metal wire here and you touch it from here, you would get an electric shock. Are you getting it up? So it shows that yes, metals are good conductor of electricity. It means they allow the electricity to pass through them. Okay, now just take a spare wire at your home. Spare wire means do not take the plugged in wire. Okay, there you might get some electric short. So take a spare wire and just remove the plastic covering over it. You must have seen, let's say this is the wire, this is the wire. So inside there would be the metal wire like this, okay, but outside there would be the plastic covering like this. Okay, so just remove this plastic covering over the wire, so inside you would find the metal wire there. So this is the wire which is made up of metal, and this metal wire allow the electricity to pass through it. Are you getting it? And why we are having the plastic covering over it? Because plastic is bad conductor of electricity. Plastic does not allow the electricity to pass through it. So that is why we are having a plastic covering over it. If we just hold this wire, we would not get any electric shock. Why? Because plastic does not allow the electricity to pass through it. Okay, so that is why we are having the coating of, or the covering of plastic there over the metal wire. Are you getting it? Getting it? Very good. Now let me give you some other example. Okay, let's say this is the bulb here. This is the bulb, and just this one bulb, with the help of wire I have attached the battery here. Let's say this is the battery. Okay, this is the battery. Let's say this is the battery, and I have attached this wire to the battery, and this bulb would glow here. Yes or not? This bulb would glow. Now suppose again in the second case I have the bulb here, and again I am just I have attached this to the battery here. Okay, here I have the battery, but here I have disconnected the wire. Okay, so in this case, would the bulb glow? No, the bulb would not glow here. Rather, the bulb would glow here. Why? Because the circuit is closed here. The circuit is closed because, as I have said, metals allow the electricity to pass through them. Okay, so it would allow the electricity to pass through them. But here I have broken the circuit, so here you have air now. Okay, as metals allow the electricity to pass through it, but it would not allow here because here you have not wire, here you have air. So air is bad conductor of electricity. So from there the electricity cannot pass. Are you getting it? So in this case the bulb would not glow. So these are the two conditions there. Are you getting it? Very good. Now you might have seen uh, some electrical outlets that we are using for safety measures. Okay, like suppose at home you must have seen some electrical outlets like this, where we just plug in the wire like this. We just plug in the wire there. So these are known as the electrical outlets. Okay, so we just plug in the wire there. Okay, and sometimes the children also have the tendency to put the finger inside the electrical outlets. Okay, so for this we are using the electric caps. We are using what? We are using the safety caps rather. Okay, safety caps. So if you just put over the safety cap over it, so the children, if they cannot put the finger inside then. Okay, so these means the electrical outlets and the safety caps, we are using these for the safety purpose. Okay, If you are not using, we would get electric shock then. Are you getting it now? So these electrical outlets and the safety caps, we are using this for the safety purpose there. Are you getting it? Hope you are getting. So it implies, means metals allow the electricity to pass through them. The wire used at home circuit, means the circuit which is there at home, is also made up of the metal, like copper wire is there. Okay, normally the copper wire is used in making the home electrical circuit. Okay, and we do have a plastic covering over it. Why is the plastic covering there? Because a plastic is very poor conductor of electricity, means it does not allow the electricity to pass through it. Are you getting it? Very good. Now we have some electric safety measures, like we are using electrical outlets that I have just already told to you. Next is the safety caps. So these two are we are using as electric safety measures. Okay, to prevent ourselves from getting electric shock. Okay, so just note it down. Then we would move ahead towards the next physical property. Okay, just note it down. So here we have the next physical property of the metal. So that is, metals are sonorous. Sonorous implies, means they are producing the ringing sound. Whenever you just beat a metal sheet, whatever, so it would produce a ringing sound. Are you getting? So this property is known as the sonorous. Okay, so metals are sonorous implies metals produce ringing sounds. Like the example, the best example is the school bell. Okay, the school bell, the bell which is there at a school, or the bell you might see in the temples. Okay, so these bells are made up of the metal. Okay, so that is why whenever they are being beaten, so they are producing a ringing sound. Are you getting? So this property of the metal is known as the sonorous. So some examples you can take just simple at your home also. So kitchen utensils are also made up of the metal. So whenever the kitchen utensils fell down, so they also produce the ringing sound there. Are you getting it on? Yes. So this property of the metal is known as the sonorous property. Okay, just note it down. Now this is the next this is the next physical property of the metals. Metals have high density. So it implies what? It implies the atoms are very close to each other, very near to each other in case of the metal. Okay, so this this shows that the metals are heavy also. Okay, let me give you some example. Let's say you have two metals here. One metal is this, and the metal, another metal you have, that is here. Both are of same size. Okay, now here the atoms are very close to each other. The atoms are very close to each other. You can see the atoms are very close to each other, but here the atoms are far from each other, means they are not too much close. So as both are of same size, but here the atoms are very close, it means it is having higher density than this, because the atoms are very close, so it is having higher density than this. So as both are of same size, but this one would be heavier than this one. If you just hold these two in your hand, so this one would be somewhat heavier than this. Why? Because it is having the higher density. Higher density implies, means it is heavy. Are you getting it now? So that is why, suppose whenever you are holding an iron object, so iron is having high density, means the atoms are very near to each other. Iron is a metal. So whenever you are holding an iron made vessel, whatever, so you would feel heavy there. It is heavy. Okay, why? Because it is having higher density. Are you getting it or not? Higher density means the atoms are very close there. Getting it or not? So this is what just I was talking about. Now if you take the metal which are having the highest density, so there you have iridium and osmium. These are the two metals, iridium and osmium. Iridium and osmium have highest density, means they are having density more than iron, etc., means any other metal. Okay, so iridium and osmium have highest density in case of the metals. Highest density in metals. So in metals, these two metals have highest density. Whereas the lithium is another metal there, but it has the lowest density. So lithium has lowest density. in metals. In metals. What does this mean? If you take two same sized seeds, one is of iridium and another one is of lithium. One is of iridium, another one is of lithium. So which one we, as both are of same size, but here you have the density higher. So here the atoms are very close to each other, but here the atoms are somewhat far. Okay, so in this case, as both are of same size, but this one would be higher. Why? Because it is having higher density. Okay, so that is all for today. Would be discussing some more about the chapter that is materials, metals and non-metals. Till then, stay tuned and keep watching. Thank you. Have a good day.